Now that you're going to be a bass player, the most important thing we can do right from the start is set up a proper plucking hand position. In this lesson, we're going to look at playing fingerstyle. If you want to play with a pick, you can fast forward to lesson 5, although I recommend you check these lessons out because they're not that long, and you may eventually want to play with your fingers anyway, so it's good to get a look at both. A proper plucking hand position is going to allow you to play more quickly and without tension in your body, so you're not going to develop any wrist or elbow or shoulder problems from playing the bass. And like I said, it lets us play fast, so it's completely worth doing. Okay, the most important thing you can do for your plucking hand position, and I want you to keep an eye on this through the entire course, is to never let your elbow go below the top of your bass. So if I do that, I'm going to bring my elbow down, and you'll see some people play like this with their elbow almost tucked into their side. What's happening is you can see how bent my wrist is. I have almost a full bend in that, almost 90 degrees. And when I do this, I can actually already feel the strain in my shoulder and in my elbow and in my wrist. So with your wrist bent like that, you're cutting off the tendons from moving freely, and that's going to make it hard to play. It'll make it really hard to play fast, and it's going to lead to some strain in your joints, which you don't want. So let's take a look at the proper way to set up your plucking hands so that we don't get any of that tension that we don't want. All right, now that we've got our wrist and our elbow set, we're going to look at how we play bass using our middle and index fingers. You can actually use more fingers, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but to start out, we're just going to use these two. So let's bring our arm up, rest our wrist on the bass, elbow in a comfortable position, and then you're just going to rest your thumb on the front pickup of the bass. If you only have one pickup, you can rest it on that pickup. And then we're going to use our index and middle finger alternating, and we're just going to play the open string, the lowest string here, the fattest string, right? As slowly as you need to, and just pay attention to what you're feeling in your forearm, your shoulder, and your wrist. If that's all comfortable and there's no tension, then you're good to go. Then we can move up a string if we want. Move up another string if you like. At this point, you could be resting your thumb on the E string, or the lowest string. Right. And then we can do the same thing. We'll move up and rest our thumb on the A string, or the second lowest string. Just alternate fingers. Make sure you're not getting tension on any of those strings. And the thing that you need to know about playing the bass is that we don't technically really play it with our fingers. The muscles we're using are actually in our forearm up here. So when you're playing, if you're feeling it in your wrist, or you feel like you're playing completely with your fingers, you probably just need to get your elbow up a little, straighten it out so that you can transfer that power from up in your forearm to your fingers so that you can play. It's really important to keep an eye on. So the biggest things, make sure that your wrist is fairly straight, and that's going to be determined by your elbow position. Pay attention to any tension that you're getting. Make sure that you get the tension out before you continue, and then practice alternating fingers and pay attention to where you feel the power actually coming from, and if you're creating any tension in your body. All right, so practice this lesson as long as it takes until you feel comfortable, and I'll see you guys on the next one.